In a small, forgotten town nestled deep within the mist-laden woods, there stood an ancient mansion that whispered of secrets and echoed with the footsteps of long-gone residents. The townsfolk spoke in hushed tones about the legends that shrouded the decaying structure in an aura of terror. One stormy night, a group of curious teenagers decided to explore the haunted mansion, seeking the thrill of unraveling its mysteries. Armed with flashlights and fueled by bravado, they cautiously entered the creaking door, its rusty hinges groaning in protest. As they ventured further into the mansion, shadows danced on the dilapidated walls, and the air became colder with each step. A ghostly chill crept up their spines, but they pressed on, determined to conquer their fears. Suddenly, a haunting melody echoed through the abandoned halls, a mournful piano tune that seemed to emanate from nowhere. The teens froze, their flashlights flickering in sync with the eerie music. Whispers of long-forgotten conversations lingered in the air, and phantom footsteps echoed in the darkness. In a dimly lit room, they stumbled upon a cracked mirror that reflected twisted apparitions instead of their own terrified faces. The air grew thicker as an otherworldly voice whispered warnings and pleas for release. Shadows began to materialize, taking on the form of tormented souls trapped between worlds. As the group tried to flee, the mansion seemed to come alive, its decaying walls groaning and shifting with an ominous energy. The once locked doors swung open, revealing hidden passageways that led deeper into the heart of the ghostly labyrinth. They found themselves in a grand ballroom, frozen in time, where phantom dancers swirled in a macabre waltz. The air buzzed with an unsettling energy, and the teenagers felt an invisible force compelling them to join the spectral dance. The room echoed with the laughter of long-lost revelers, and the ghostly figures locked eyes with the intruders, pulling them into a nightmarish dance that transcended the boundaries of the living and the dead. Just as the teenagers became entangled in the ghostly embrace, a bone-chilling scream echoed through the mansion, and the music abruptly stopped. The room plunged into darkness, leaving the terrified group disoriented and alone. As they fumbled in the blackness, a distant whisper promised an escape, but only if they could uncover the mansion's deepest secret. The once closed doors now beckoned them into unexplored realms, and the relentless spirits awaited their fate. The group hesitated, caught between the desire for escape and the fear of what malevolent force lurked in the mansion's darkest corners. And so, the haunting tale continues, the unanswered questions lingering in the air like the ghostly echoes of the mansion's tormented past. With trepidation, the group chose a doorway that seemed to shimmer with an ethereal light. As they crossed the threshold, the air shifted, and a haunting silence enveloped them. They found themselves in a forgotten library, its shelves laden with ancient tomes covered in dust and cobwebs. In the dim glow of their flashlights, the group began to decipher the cryptic writings within the books. The pages told tales of a cursed love affair, betrayal, and a tragic fate that befell the mansion's former inhabitants. It became clear that the mansion held the spirits of those who suffered a tormenting demise, and their restless souls sought resolution. As they delved deeper into the tragic history, the atmosphere grew more oppressive. Shadows clung to the corners of the room, and the temperature plummeted. The ghostly figures that had danced in the ballroom materialized around them, their anguished faces pleading for release. Driven by an otherworldly force, the group stumbled upon a hidden chamber at the heart of the mansion. In the center of the room, a tattered portrait depicted a forbidden love between two souls torn apart by deceit and tragedy. The eyes of the painted figures seemed to follow the intruders, drawing them into the heartbreaking narrative. A voice, neither living nor dead, whispered the final chapter of the cursed tale. To break the cycle of torment, they needed to uncover the truth buried within the mansion's walls and confront the malevolent force that bound the spirits to their eternal suffering. The group felt an unseen presence guiding them through secret passages and hidden rooms, revealing the darkest corners of the mansion's history. As they pieced together the puzzle, a sinister force resisted their efforts, unleashing poltergeist activity and echoing screams that reverberated through the haunted halls. With each revelation, the group sensed a growing urgency, as if time itself was unraveling. They learned of a vengeful spirit, wronged in life, who sought to drag others into the abyss of despair. The mansion had become a twisted purgatory, and the key to breaking the curse lay in exposing the truth that had been obscured for centuries. But as they approached the climax of their quest, a foreboding realization gripped them. The malevolent force was not confined to the mansion alone. Its tendrils reached beyond, entwining the town and its unsuspecting inhabitants in a web of supernatural horror. As the group pressed on, a ghostly figure emerged from the shadows, a spectral guide offering cryptic clues and warnings. The spirits pleaded for redemption, but the malevolent force fought back with increasing ferocity, determined to maintain its grip on the cursed town. Now, standing on the precipice of revelation, the group faced a choice: confront the malevolent force and unravel the town's dark secrets, or succumb to the same fate that befell those who dared to delve into the haunted depths of the mansion. The air crackled with an otherworldly tension, leaving the fate of the cursed town hanging in the balance, its secrets waiting to be unveiled. The group, now burdened with the weight of a town's hidden past, felt an eerie resonance between the mansion and the restless spirits that lingered beyond its walls. They pressed forward, guided by the spectral figure, whose voice echoed through the narrow passages like a distant whisper. Shadows danced in unsettling patterns, and the very air seemed to vibrate with a supernatural energy. Their journey led them to an ancient graveyard hidden deep within the woods, where weathered tombstones bore the names of those entwined in the tragic tale. The ghostly guide revealed that the malevolent force drew strength from the unresolved pain and anguish of the spirits, feeding off their suffering to maintain its spectral dominance. As the group delved into the graveyard's history, they discovered a ritual that, if performed correctly, could sever the malevolent force's connection to the cursed town. The key lay in reuniting the lost souls with their earthly remains, allowing them to find peace in the afterlife. Armed with newfound knowledge, the group faced a daunting task. They embarked on a quest to locate the scattered remains of the long-departed residents, each piece holding a fragment of the town's tortured history. The graveyard, once silent, became a swirling vortex of ethereal energy as the spirits stirred in anticipation. The malevolent force, sensing the threat, intensified its efforts to thwart the group. Phantom apparitions and ghostly whispers tested their resolve, tempting them to abandon their mission and succumb to the same fate that befell those who had dared to unveil the town's dark secrets. As the group uncovered the final pieces of the puzzle, the ghostly guide revealed a hidden chamber within the mansion where the ritual must take place. A sense of urgency consumed them as they navigated the twisting corridors, haunted by the knowledge that time was running out. The malevolent force, now aware of their intentions, unleashed a spectral onslaught, manipulating the very fabric of reality to impede their progress. At last, the group reached the hidden chamber, adorned with symbols of ancient mysticism. The air crackled with tension as they arranged the unearthed remains in a ceremonial pattern, guided by the ghostly whispers that echoed through the chamber. The mansion itself seemed to groan and resist the ritual, its decaying structure protesting the disturbance of its malevolent secrets. As the final pieces fell into place, a blinding light enveloped the chamber. The spirits, trapped in the limbo between worlds, cried out in a symphony of anguish and relief. The malevolent force, unable to withstand the purifying energy, recoiled, its ethereal tendrils dissipating like shadows banished by the dawn. Yet, as the light faded, the group was left with an unsettling realization. The curse may have been broken, but the mysteries that bound the town and its haunted history were far from over. The ghostly guide, now a mere echo, spoke of a deeper darkness lurking beneath the surface, a malevolence that had yet to reveal itself. The group emerged from the mansion, the air heavy with a newfound stillness. The townsfolk, unaware of the supernatural struggle that had unfolded, continued their lives, oblivious to the lingering shadows that clung to the town's history. The group, however, felt a lingering sense of unease, as if the malevolent force had merely retreated, biding its time for a resurgence. As they pondered the cryptic warnings and unresolved mysteries, the group couldn't shake the feeling that the true horror had only just begun. The town, once ensnared by the malevolent force, now teetered on the edge of an even darker abyss, awaiting the moment when the hidden secrets would unravel and plunge it once again into the clutches of the supernatural. The story, it seemed, was far from over, leaving the group and the town suspended in a delicate balance between the living and the spectral, unknown. Determined to face whatever darkness still lurked in the shadows, the group decided to delve deeper into the town's mysteries. Armed with newfound knowledge and an unyielding resolve, they began unraveling the threads of a sinister plot that transcended generations. As they investigated, they discovered a long-forgotten pact made by the town's founders, a covenant with a malevolent entity that promised prosperity in exchange for the souls of the town's inhabitants. The cursed mansion was merely a vessel, a nexus of supernatural power that perpetuated the cycle of suffering. With the help of ancient texts and spectral guidance, the group devised a plan to break the cursed covenant. They gathered the townsfolk, sharing the grim truth and urging them to collectively reject the malevolent entity's influence. The unity of the community became their greatest weapon against the lingering darkness. In a climactic confrontation, the townspeople, guided by the group, gathered at the heart of the town, the cursed mansion looming in the background. Together, they chanted ancient incantations, breaking the shackles that bound their fates to the malevolent force. The air crackled with energy as a wave of purifying light swept through the town, dispelling the malevolence that clung to its every corner. The mansion, once a symbol of dread, crumbled into dust, its malevolent secrets dissipating with its demise. The ghosts that had haunted the town were finally free, ascending to a peaceful afterlife. The ethereal voices of gratitude echoed through the night as the spectral figures disappeared into the light, leaving behind a town liberated from centuries of supernatural torment. As dawn broke, the group stood amidst the town, now bathed in the warmth of a new beginning. The air felt lighter, and a sense of tranquility settled over the once cursed land. The townsfolk, though shaken by the revelation, embraced a fresh start, determined to forge a future free from the shadows of the past. The group, having played a pivotal role in breaking the curse, found solace in knowing they had brought an end to the malevolent legacy that had plagued the town. As they prepared to leave, the ghostly guide reappeared one last time, expressing gratitude and assuring them that the town was now free from the malevolent entities. GRASP. With a final, cryptic whisper, the ghostly guide vanished, leaving the group with a lingering sense of closure. As they departed, the town behind them began to flourish, its residents rebuilding and thriving without the ominous specter of the past haunting their every step. The group carried the memories of their harrowing journey, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit against the forces of darkness. As they walked away, the town faded into the distance, a beacon of hope reborn from the ashes of its haunted history. And so, the chapter closed on the once cursed town, its tale of redemption echoing through the ages as a reminder that even in the face of malevolence, the strength of unity and the pursuit of truth could vanquish the darkest shadows and pave the way for a brighter, unburdened future. The group, having fulfilled their destiny, continued their journey, leaving the town and its newfound tranquility behind as they ventured into the unknown, their hearts filled with the promise of a world free from the supernatural shackles that once bound them.